Hi everyone, this is Tony from Ensemble Manager, and this video tutorial is an introduction or an overview to the platform to kind of help you get acquainted with it. Now the page we're looking at right now, this is our video tutorials page, and if you want to watch a video, you simply go over to the left hand side, you'll see our list of menus. You click on one and it will bring up the video tutorial so you can watch it. Now if you need to get back to this, it's real simple. Simply go up to the upper right hand side, click on, we call this the preferences icon, and this is where you would go to change your account information or to renew your account. And to get tutorials, you simply click on the tutorials menu and it will take you back to here. Now when you create your account, the first thing you're going to want to do is create your members database. We'll walk you through how to do that in the next video tutorial. Next thing you're going to want to do is create your library or your library inventory database. We'll also walk you through how to do that. Now, with a lot of this stuff, you need to some presets or preferences, so to speak, and Ensemble Manager sets a lot of this stuff up for you so you don't have to start from scratch. Let me give you an example. Go over to Music Library, click on Categories. And you'll notice we have a list of composers and publishers. So for a music piece, for example, it's got to have a title and a composer tied to it. And you don't want to do that from scratch, and so we've gone ahead and set up 219 composers for you and 98 publishers. Now if you look at the page, the first thing you'll start seeing is like icons. You see this little icon here, icon there, icon here, and the system is icon based. If we typed everything out, it would just get really cumbersome, and I'm sure you've seen these on a number of sites. It's very common practice. But if you don't know what something is, if you'll simply hover over it, you'll see a little description of that thing in a little black box there. We call that a tooltip. Okay. Now the two icons I'm pointing at right now, they're little eyeballs. One has a line through it, one is green. And anytime you see this, this is what's called a hide icon. It means that thing can be hidden. If it's red with a line through it, that means it's hidden, and either hides it from another page or from public view. If it's green, that means it's visible. You can see it. Now if I want to change it, you just click it. And one of the things I want you to notice is that little black box that popped up at the bottom of the page. That is referred to as a toast. Now anytime you click on something, you want confirmation that you saved it or you edited it or something changed. The action that you intended to happen just happened. So if I click on it, I'll click it again, this time to show it, you'll see it pop up. There we go, publisher will display. So that's what that is, a toast. Now the next icon I want to point out is this over here. Anytime you see a box with a plus in it, that's a create icon. That means you can create this thing. So in this case, I can create a category. I'll click it and you'll see a little box open up like this. Now this box is referred to as a modal. Oftentimes it'll maybe just have a message in it just warning you, are you sure you want to do this thing? Or it may have an action. In this case, we can create categories. If you want to cancel out of it, you don't want to do it, you simply click the close icon and that'll just cancel out of it. I'm going to go back to it and point out another thing. Now this icon right here, this is what we refer to as an add icon. Most of these parts of the site, you can add things and you can add them all at once. Instead of doing one at a time, you can add multiples of these. So in this case, I can just add this all at one time. I can put in all my categories, click save, it would do it. This icon right here, it's pretty obvious. This is the delete icon, the trash can. You've probably seen these on other sites. You click it and it will delete it. If it's an important item, a lot of times a little warning will show up asking you, are you sure you want to delete this? So those are those icons. Now, let's go over to members. Now, you're going to want to create your members next, and we'll walk you through how to do that in the next video tutorial. But some things I want to point out. First of all, let's go to member types. Now with a member, when you create a member, the member has to have a first name, a last name, has to have an email, has to have a username and a password, because all the members are going to have their own individual login page. In addition to that, if you want to use them as a musician, so for example put them in the roster, they have to have an instrument and they have to have what I call a status. Status would be like tenured, substitute, section player, those sort of things. And this brings me to my next icon. Now let's look over here to the right hand side and you'll see this little triangle pointing down with 3 lines. That's referred to as a filter icon. And you'll pretty much see it on every page. And if you click it, you'll see this little thing slide down. And it's a way of filtering through a list of items. So I mentioned status. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click status, and you saw that page change. Now this brings me to the next thing I want to talk about. This little gray box you see right here. We've all seen these. It's called a paginator. It'll show you, like, if there's a list of, like, say 200 items, it'll break it down into items per page. If you want to change it, you simply drop the box down and change that. If there's more items than are on the page, you'll start seeing the pages, like page 1, page 2, page 3. This is really common. But the thing I want to show you is over the left-hand side, you'll see this a lot. The number on the right, that tells you how many items you have in your database. Items right here on the left, that tells me how many items you are filtering. So I have 65 total items of member types. And as I start filtering, which is the next thing I want to show you, you'll have drop-down boxes and you'll have input boxes where you'll type into it. And the way the filter works is dynamic. So as I type for something, you'll notice it's starting to search immediately. I don't have to click a search button to search for it. All right, so status. Status is the thing that the musician has to have in order for rosters to work. And this brings me to my next icon I want to show you, which is this right here. Now this is a little confusing, but it's a standard common practice icon. This is a drag icon. Anytime you see the little 3 dots with 2 columns of it, this means that item or that list of things can be reordered. And it's really simple. You just simply click on it and drag it to wherever you want it, and it will reorder the list of things like that. Another icon I want to show you is this icon. Whenever you see the icon with a box with a pencil in it, that means that thing can be edited. You can edit that item. So if I click on it, it throws me into edit mode. I can change my settings here, and then I can save it or I can cancel out of it. And the last thing I want to show you is our default settings for instrument. This is another very important thing that you're going to need. Now the reason I want to show you this is I want you to notice how this is set up. So first thing you're going to notice is it's set up in score order, so you don't have to put it in any order that you want to. And obviously if you want to change the order, you simply drag it where you want to and it'll change the order. Some things I want you to notice here. So we have our flutes, but you'll notice that flutes is grouped together in winds. So for example, I can filter out just the winds, or I can filter out just the brass. So we've already taken care of that for you. In addition, you'll see this kind of light blue color. Anytime you see that, that's like a subcategory. So let's take our instruments, for example. We have flutes, which is winds, but then we have piccolo, which is also winds, but which is a member of the flutes. So that's kind of what that means. This is going to be a subcategory of the thing that you see it under. Now, in order to do that, you're going to drag it under the thing that you want, in this case, flute, and then if you double click, it'll either remove it or put it as a subcategory of that thing. So that's how you do subcategories. And lastly, you'll notice these have abbreviations. If you create an instrument, you're going to want to give it an abbreviation. All the abbreviations are taken from the Daniels, so they're kind of industry standard abbreviations for those things. So that concludes this video. Let's go ahead and go to the next video and get your members set up.